Hi, everybody. It's Kathy, and I'm here in the sixth in my series, Quick and Easy. And today we're going to make some different types of pockets or card holders that you can put in your journals. So let's get started. Let me show you what I have. I made three different kinds. This one has a little door that's put together with some brads and circles. And then you open it up, and I simply put in a charm and some material. You can put inside whatever you'd like. And then it just closes up like that. This one goes together by inserting the various pieces. Oops, I have it upside down. And inside I just have a picture and some material as well. I sewed on these buttons and added some lace and cloth. And then this one, I cut out a heart in the middle, and then it holds a little tag. Okay, so if you're interested, stick around and let's get started. First, we're going to start with the simplest one, and that's this one with the heart on it. And for your material, let me see. It's going to be around 6 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I have 6.5 inches, but you can make it really any size you'd like. And I have 4.5 inches, so 6.5 by 4.5. 6.5 inches by 4.5 inches. And I'm basically just making this out of scrap. And all you're going to do is fold it in half first. And you might want to use a bone folder. I'm using very thin material, very thin paper, so it's not really necessary. And then I'm simply going to take the front before I glue it down, fold it in half without creasing it. I'm just making a fold. And as you know me, I'm not a measurer. If you'd like, you can make a heart template, but I'm simply going to cut a heart in the center. And I'm starting about 1.5 inches from the top. And just like that. And then I'm going to take it. Actually, I'm going to clean it up a little bit. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to glue it. And I'm gluing it at the bottom. And up the side. Just want to make sure it matches up. I'm going to use a circle punch to cut a notch in the top. I probably should have done that before I folded it, but that's okay. Let me see if it'll go through. There we go. Just a little notch. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ink the edges. And around the notch. And around the heart. I definitely should have done this before I glued it. It's okay if it gets on the inside. I just want to get rid of some of the white on it. That's it. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I need a back piece to put in front of the heart. And I have one already cut like that. I want to make sure it fits down. And on the front of this, I'm going to glue a photo. Let me see if I have one. I think I cut one out, but can't find it. So I'll cut another one out. Okay. And I'm going to round the corners on this, on the 1/4 inch side. And it still needs some sort of background, some sort of color. So I'm going to use, see if I have a piece. I'm going to use a piece of this. And I'm just going to cut a little border out around the photo. And then on that, I'm also going to round the corners. And then I'm going to glue this on. And I'm going to glue it onto here. And we're going to pop it in here. Okay, I just want to check to make sure it fits. And I'm going to put some glue at the top and at the bottom, facing towards the heart. Okay. And I actually am going to glue the tip of the heart down. And let's see. I think I have some tags here. That I'm just going to cut. Get over, fold it without creasing it. Punch a hole. Ink it up. Actually, I'm going to be using this side. And that's going to go on the top. But it appears it's stuck a little bit. I'm going to get my bone folder in there and loosen it up. And it makes a quick and easy pocket. Obviously, we need some twine at the top or something. I only have some pink right here, but we'll add that anyway. Bugs crawling on me. Okie doke. So that's one of the little pockets we're going to do. And just again to go over the measurements, it's 6 by 4.5 is what, or 4 1/4, or you can just make it 6 by 4. It really doesn't matter. Okay. So we'll put those there. The next one we're going to make is this one. And for this one, you're going to need a couple of brads and a 1 inch, this is less than, 1 inch. This is a 1/2 inch hole punch that we'll need for the little button things. Or you can, put buttons there. You can make the closure however you want. But we're going to use brads. So first, let's look at the template. First, I started with a 6 inch by 4 1/4 inch piece of paper. 6 by 4 1/4, and you do want to make this out of cardstock. So 6 by 4 1/4. And I already have mine cut. And then you want to score at 1 1/2 inch from each side. So before we cut anything on it, we're going to score it. And we're going to score it at 1 1/2 inch from each side. Let me find my bone folder. So 1 1/2 inch. We're going to score it, flip it around horizontally, and score it again at 1 1/2 inch from the other side. Okay? Then, what I did here is I pretty much winged it. I made a design. Now, what you might want to do is make a template first until you like the way it looks. When I cut it folded up. Just makes it easier. And I'm going to start down cutting. I'm going to start about 1 inch from the top. And all I'm going to do is almost cut a circle. Circle, almost like a half circle. And obviously those don't match. So I want to fix this side to match. So Obviously, it's easier if you do it with a template, and I just chose not to do the template because that's the way I am. Okay, that is good. And you open it up, and it looks like that. Now we're going to punch 3 circles, preferably from some contrasting paper. Let me see what I have. Just going to use these since they're here. And you need to punch 4 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you need to glue back to back. So wrong sides to wrong sides. You need to glue them together. Just like that. Whoop. And then I'm going to punch a small hole in the center so I can put my brad in. And while I have the punch out, I'm going to punch a hole in these. And to do that, so that they come out evenly, I take it, I line up the 2 door panels like that, and then I punch the hole about 3/4 of an inch away from the edge. Just like that. And then we know they line up. Now I need to get a couple of brads. Okie dokie. You find a couple. I just want plain ones. 1 and 2. And before I do that, I do want to ink it up. I'm sorry, I was out of the frame, I think. I live down in Miami. Whew, it's raining like crazy here. But you know, it stops after like 20 minutes. We need the rain. Kind of on a drought here. And you want to do the inside as well. And I love when, you know, I don't feel like making a whole journal. I love to just take the time to make the things that I can put in my journal later on. Okie doke. So now we're going to put the brads. Oh, I wanted to ink up these little guys too. And you only need to ink one side. Okay. And we're going to put them through there and put them through here. Open them up. Same thing here. And there you have it, but we need a little string. So I think I will use some odd color like purple, just because I have it right here. And wrap it around the side, around the circle of 1. And chances are you don't need to tie it, depending on the kind of cord that you're using. This you don't need to tie in a knot because it's not going to unravel. And then the other one. So this is, you keep one of them long so folks know which end to unravel. The one that you don't want to unravel, you make that shorter. Okay? So that's that. And then inside, as on this one, I put fabric and a charm, but you can put whatever you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and put the piece of fabric down. And this is cotton muslin that I have, some scraps. It's not going to cut because that's the selvage. And then you want to just unravel it. I always like the way it looks. And the same with the other end. And you want a good bit of fringe on it. So you can keep doing it until you get a good bit of fringe. Okay. And then I am going to put some ink on here, just on the edges. Just like that. And let's see. Let me see if I'm going to use a pen. Let's see what I have here. Okie dokie. I have all sorts of stuff. I think this time I'm just going to put some little flowers down. There we go. And gonna glue this down. And glue these little cute little flowers down. Gonna glue it where it fell. And I am going to ink around the flowers. Whoops. Whoops. None of them stayed. To put a lot of glue because they're non-porous on the bottom. Well, heck. Okay, that's just there. It does need a little more embellishments on the sides, but we're going to keep it just like that. And I did want to go back to this for 1 minute because I wanted to put something at the top here. So I'm going to ink this up. I'm going to put I'm going to stamp some letters in here, on here. And on this, I want it to look like a little tag on the sides. So I'm going to take my hole punch. Whoa, that didn't work. That was too much. That didn't work at all. Well, that did not work. Let's try again. You have to get it right on the edge. There we go. And on the edge over here. That's more like it. Okay. I'm going to glue this down. Put it right over the top. And I'm going to stamp the word sweet on it. Oh, ay Dios mío, I didn't want that ink. I wanted this ink. And I'm going to stamp that right in the middle. Sweet. Okay, now I'm happy that I didn't forget that. Okay, and the last one that we're going to do is this one. That opens by inserting the little arrows together. Okay? So you start out with, let me see if I can find my template. Here's my template. You start out with a piece of paper that's 6.5 by 3.25. I'm sorry, 3.5. 6.5 by 3.5. Then you're going to score it at 2 inches and 4.5 inches. Okay, so I have my 6.5 by 3.5 here, and I'm going to score it at 2 inches and 4.5 inches. So 2 inches, if I can find my bone folder. There it is. So 2 inches and 4.5 inches. just like that. When you fold it, they'll slightly overlap. Now the next thing you want to do is you're going to need a pencil or a pen to mark this, and you're going to mark it over 3 1/4 inches. Let me make sure. Yes. So I'm doing it right on my board. So I'm going to go over 3 1/4 inches and just put a dot. And over, make sure it's straight, 3 1/4 inches and put a dot. Next, this side, I'm going to measure down 3 1/4 inches. Then I'm going to measure down 1 inch. Then I'm going to measure down 3 1/4 inches. And the last should be 1 inch. Okay? On the other side, if you flip it, don't turn it upside down. You have to flip it. And it's going to be the opposite. You're going to, since it's on the other side, we're going to measure in again 3/4 inches. Then you're going to measure down. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. Make sure. Yes. You're going to measure down 1 inch. So you're doing the opposite of what you did on the other side. Then you're going to measure down 3/4 inch. Then you're going to measure down 1 inch, and the last space should be 3/4 inch. So what you're doing is one side you're measuring down 1 inch, the other side you're measuring down 3/4 inch. So you're opposite, 3/4, so it's 1 inch, 3/4, 1 inch, 3/4, then it's 3/4, 1 inch, 3/4, 1 inch. So you're doing the opposite. And I'm going to use my template, because I have it, is making sure I'm doing it on the correct side, is I'm going to cut out the spaces. So the 1 inch ones are the ones that I'm cutting out. Oh, that's not quite. You need to be pretty precise when you're measuring on this. Okay, so I left the top one and the middle one in place. Now on this side, I'm going to cut out the 1 inch. It's going to be in the opposite. Uh-oh, I think I did it wrong. Oh, no, I didn't. I messed up so many times when I was initially playing with this. Okay. So, this is what you should end up with. Your 3/4 inch little strips are the ones that you leave intact. You're cutting out the 1 inch spaces. Okay, but on these you want to make them into a like an arrow. So I'm going to fold it without creasing it, trying not to crease it. and cut off so that it's even, looking like that. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side, this one, for all of the strips. Fold it, try not to crease it, which is difficult. So just, let's say, try not to crease it too much. And cut it so you end up with a nice straight line like that. And you're doing the same thing over here. Oop. And last but not least, over here. And hopefully you're not wrinkling the piece too much. Okay, so try to straighten that out. I know I crumpled mine a little bit. And then you fold it into each other. Just like that. And there shouldn't be the space in between here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my what do you call it, line, my score line a little bit, just to even it up. I don't have to do it too much, but I like it so I don't see the space in between. So there I have it, just like that. Now, on the one that I did previously, I sewed buttons into this. I'm not going to do that for this one because you can do it if you choose. It would take a long time for me to show you on camera, and I don't want to take that time, but I did do that, and I think it looks pretty cool, and if I was making it for myself again, I would probably do the same thing. This time what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hole punch again, and let's see. I'm going to cut out 4 circles. And I'm simply going to put this, pardon me, in place. I'm going to ink it up a little bit. And then what I would do, let me put them on this side, is I can stick something in the middle. I can stick a rhinestone would be pretty. Anything to match whatever your theme would be for these little embellishments. And there it is. I forgot to ink these up. Oh well. Let's do some inking all over them so at least they look less pristine. And all of this, you know, if I was going to ink it, I should have done it before. That's one thing I'm notorious for forgetting, is to do the ink when I should do it instead of afterwards. C'est la vie. I've learned over the years not to sweat the little stuff, right? It doesn't do any good. And I'm gonna ink it inside as well. Okay, enough of that. And let's try some more fabric. Okay, I'm going to ink this up a little bit. I'll do it right on top of here. And I'm going to put it over to the side here because I like the flower to show. And goodness, the possibilities are endless. I mean, you could put little pockets inside these. You could do all sorts of things with them. I kind of like this guy. And we imagine it as a young girl putting a picture of her young love. Okie doke. And on the front, I think I have a little bit of something I can put on the front. And put a little bit of ink on there. And then kind of looks like a lighthouse. Interesting. Put that there. And then another little piece of material, because I kind of like what I did on the other one. We're going to take that and take that. Put some ink on it. And then put it down here. Just like that. Okay? So, here's what we've done. We've made these. Let me get all this crud out of the way. Whoops, right on the floor. And we've made these. Make sure they're in the shot. Yeah. So it gives you an idea of things that you can make, different pockets and tags. And if you have any questions, I tried to figure out how to send you the template, and I honestly don't know how to do it. Now I can take a picture of them, and I'll do that. I'll put a picture in the comment on Friendly Junk Journal people. I'll put a, I'll announce the YouTube, and I'll put a picture of all of the templates And that way you might be able to print them out and cut them or something. Okay? So you all have a great day, and thank you so much for watching. And I'd appreciate it if you liked it, if you would give me a like in the comments, and a like underneath the, you know what I mean. Anyway, have a good day. Bye.